Hey everybody, welcome in. For those of you who may not know who I am, my name is Vulcan. I'm a secretary for the ApeCoin DAO. I often like to look at analytics, other metrics on the DAO. I also write a newsletter. You can actually find the link to my newsletter. I think it's up at the top of this video. But before I begin, I wanted to say that all views and opinions and information shared in today's space are all my personal views and opinions. They are not representative of the Ape Foundation in any way. But yeah, let's dive in. So for those of you who are not aware, I like to post analytical things to Twitter, Discord, and Discourse. Just looking at things from a analytical angle to try to determine what is happening in the DAO. But beyond the text and the images that I share across these mediums, I thought it would be more valuable to actually start recording videos and kind of walking through my thought process of how I'm gathering this information, why I'm gathering this information, and hopefully how it can be used to improve processes or other things across the DAO. So today on Twitter, I posted this chart here looking at data, participation data between the current special council election happening right now and the previous one from 6 months ago. Um, as you may or may not know, special council elections are currently going on. We're wrapping up the first round today, and the second round starts tomorrow. So this whole entire election process will be done a week from today on June 28th. But as we are going through it, I figured it'd be pretty interesting to look at different participation metrics and just compare how they've changed from 6 months ago. A lot has changed within the DAO. And as you start to look in here, you can see this first row here, forum members. So anytime you hear me mention the word forum, I'm referring to the discourse forum. I like to call it forum because there's a lot of confusion between discourse and discord. Those names sound awfully familiar, but saying forum kind of helps with that, I've found. So here you can see we have a 22% increase of forum members, and below this broken down into trust levels. So as users progress through the forum and they start participating on the forum, they earn different badges, and one of those badges is a trust level. So trust level 1 is the first badge someone can earn. 2, 3, 4. I didn't include 4 here because trust level 4 is only being used for administrators and facilitators, the secretary, and stewards. So that's not a community role. So I figured that one is not really worth looking into right now. So I focused on these first 3 trust levels. But you can see there's even more growth of users reaching these trust levels today. 51% increase of trust level 1. Trust level 2 had a 100% increase, 101 actually. Trust level 3 had an 80% increase. So back in December, we only had 15 community members who had reached trust level 3. And if you're curious what these requirements are, if you head over to the forum and type in, I think it's trust level requirements at the top right in that magnifying glass search bar, you can see one of my posts that explains the different requirements for each of these trust levels. So trust level 1 and trust level 2, those are once someone acquires that badge based on the requirements, that is tied to their profile forever. Trust level 3 is the one that can actually fall off. So these requirements are dependent on things being met within the previous 100 days. So if someone fails to, I guess I should say, if someone meets all these requirements and gets the badge and then fails to meet one of them later on, that trust level badge can fall off. Just something to keep in mind. But you can see almost double the amount of trust level 3 members today compared to 6 months ago. AIPs here, I like to think of this as AIPs currently going through the process. This number here does not include proposals already passed, rejected, or in the implementation process today. This is AIP ideas, AIP drafts, and those AIPs currently in the admin review phase. So you can see there's a little bit of an increase there. Discord members, the Discord server that we currently use for the ApeCoin DAO did not exist back in December. So it's a little hard to compare this to 6 months ago, but you can see we currently have 1,420 members in there. Snapshot members, this metric is a little bit trickier than the others. There's a few caveats with this. Someone could join the snapshot space, and I get to do so, you would head over to Snapshot, view the ApeCoin DAO space, and up at the top left, there's a join button. I think it's a blue button. This doesn't really do much functionality wise. It might send notifications when proposals go for a vote. I'm not sure. I haven't received any of those notifications myself. But as far as this metric, people can technically join the space and not vote. People can join the space and switch up the wallet that they're using for voting, and that old wallet will still register as a member. People can join, start voting, and end up later on delegating, and that original wallet would still be counted as a member here unless they decided to leave the space. So this number, while you can see it almost doubled from 6 months ago, this isn't truly indicative of how many people are actually participating in the votes. As you can see on this bottom row, the number of wallets voting has actually decreased. One caveat here is this 825 number of wallets that have voted on this current special council election. This election is still in process. We have just over 6 hours to go in this first round of the nomination election. So that number may increase higher than 825 over these next 6 or so hours. You can see that number was 1,175 6 months ago. And the word wallet here, it's a little tricky to fully understand this one as well, because this isn't necessarily the number of people voting. As I mentioned before about delegation, you could have like 50 people delegating to one wallet, and it's only going to show up as one wallet here in this number that I took off Snapshot. But that is actually 50 people voting. So it's a little bit different there, a little bit hard to fully utilize this metric in certain things we want to look at because of all these caveats. But here is an overview of kind of the participation data and comparing it today to 6 months ago. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll be starting up more and more of these, kind of walking through my analytical process and how I've utilized my Dune dashboard and other things to look at the numbers of the DAO and see if there's any way we can use them to improve the DAO. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and stay tuned for more coming soon. Thank you.